गिरधारी
जय गोपी जन वल्लभा
यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन
यशोदनंदन व्रज जनरंजन
यमुना तीरावनचारी
यमुना तीरावनचारि
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे हरे हरे
हरे
राम 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 हरे हरे
जय राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे
जय
जय
राधा वल्लभ राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे
जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रमय
जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रमय
जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय
जय
जय
गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय
जय प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा
जय प्रभुपद श्रील प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद श्रील प्रभुपद
जय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
जय
Hare Krishna. So we'll start now today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Jnanasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahim Dadati Swabhadantikam Namaho Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyadi Paschati Destarade Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayite Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gurunti Se Namo Brahmane Brahmane Hitaye Jagadikitaye Krishnaya Gautaro Namaha जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पति गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनी चरण वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि प्रिय वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरदुर्लभमनोरञ्जनमुकुन्दं जयमुदीरगोपीवाक्यजगते श्रीमद्वेङ्कटेशाय परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीरूपकथं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सादरविमधान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदां सगणललितां श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च
Hare Krishna. Please accept my messages.
Please accept my most helpful with Dr. Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
First and foremost, what were the 10 topics covered by Srimad Bhagavatam yesterday?
Sarga Visarga.
Day before yesterday, not.
Yeah. Sarga Visarga. Snana.
Prabhu, that's fine, bro. Let's hear from other devotees. Sorry if you don't mind.
Yes. Yes.
Sthana, Purana,
Manvantara.
After sthanam, when a person, when the beings are placed in one place, what should be done for them?
Protection, that is Poshanam. Yeah.
Poshanam.
Yes.
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 And how does that Poshanam happen? By telling about the Manvantaras. This is your lineage. This is how you are. Yes.
Yes.
Within the Manvantara, Ishanukadha.
Next time.
Yes or no? The various
Yes,
avatars and everything. What happens thereafter? That means the Poshanam is not just the body level of material creation. The Poshanam is at the Jivatma level as well. Yes. After that, after Manvantara and Ishanukadha, what is there?
That is inhalation. What is that?
Not annihilation, Mataji. It's the order of the, in the cantos we have to. Next comes in the order of the words in the shloka, we give annihilation first. But if you see, then comes Ashraya, surrender to the Lord. That's the 10th canto.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Thereafter, yes, comes 11th canto, which is annihilation. So that we understand how necessary this thing involves moksha. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. See how they are interconnected. They are not separate. They are interconnected. Taking a person from the illusion we come here, but from here taking us to Krishna. Under the influence of illusion we are coming here, but starting with Bhagavad Gita, moving on to Bhagavatam, we are being taken back to Lord Krishna. You see the path right now? Yes?
Yes.
So that's why the overview, those 10 topics are very, very, very important. So I'm sharing the screen once again. Let's understand the logic behind it, and then, because 90% of the time people think these are just topics. Right, yesterday I didn't want to over speak there, and therefore I limited myself. If you see, the initial creation of the universes and everything happens, right? Then Lord Brahma creates the living beings and places them, right? Secondary creation. Then the Lord provides protection by providing the resources here and looking at their bhava in terms of their buddhi or inclination. Yes?
Yeah.
Then the understanding of the various manvantaras, so that one can place and understand how one infinitesimal one is. And within that, the Lord's incarnations and the various actions of the devotees. And then that leads one to complete ashraya or shelter, right? Yes? And which leads to liberation. But in between, there will be annihilation, but that annihilation doesn't impact a devotee, because yam yam swapi smaran bhavam. Right? Make sense?
Yes.
One is thinking about the Lord always. So even at the time of annihilation, one is thinking about the Lord, so they are not affected, they go back to the Lord. Unlike the other living entities. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the context of the things. Now, yesterday as we were discussing, we spoke about how the creation happens in a bubble. Yes?
Yes.
Mahat Tattva, there are many universes within, and in each universe there are Trimurtis. So let's look at that. between that Goloka Vrindavana and the Mahat Tattva is the Brahma Jyoti or the impersonal bodily effulgence of the Lord. Yes, and it is this Brahma Jyoti that is spreading, and it's on that Brahman the entire creation is dependent. Make sense? The external energy. Of course, we have seen this, how Lord Krishna takes various forms. I'm not going to spend too much time. And in each universe, there are Trimurtis, right? And the Lord takes up many incarnations, Ishanukadha, and this is the Virata Rupa form of the Lord. If you see here, let me move it there. We have the Garbhodaka ocean, then there is, Adisesha and the earthly planet, and the form of the Lord for the entire universe is the universal form. And what happens in this universal form? It's not one thing. It's, you see, the mid navel is Bhur Loka. Above that is Bhuvar, Suvar, Ahar, Janar, Tapar, Satya. Below that is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Prasatala, Patala. That's the universal form of the Lord. Make sense? There is Bhur Loka. It's not the earthly planet, it's the earthly realm. Bhur Loka is a realm, right? Bhuvar Loka, Suvar Loka is the Swarga realm. Ahar, Janar, Tapar. It's not Ahar, it's Mahar. Somewhere typo. It's Mahar. Mahar, Janar, Tapar. What happens is, very, very simply, Mahar Loka, where all the sages who do Ashtanga Yoga go there. And here, all those Pitrus who are in the hell can come by listening to Bhagavatam there from to Janar. Janar means, Jana means people, right? To Janar, all those Pitrus who are hearing Bhagavatam from Yamadharmaraj, they can come here provided they have practiced Bhagavatam properly in Narakaloka as well. Right?
Okay.
And the Maharshis who are doing Ashtanga Yoga and everything who do here, they come there and they learn how to do proper tapa, and then they go to Satyaloka and serve the Lord. Yes? This is the indirect process, the Virata Rupa. Yes? Whereas the direct process is where we understand Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani and serve. Clear? Is this point clear up to this point to everybody? Any questions?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Great. So now let's continue and look at a couple of things. Yes, I wanted to show you the lifespan of Lord Brahma. Yes.
Prabhu, can I ask one question, Prabhu?
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Prabhu, the 10 topics, can you please bring that?
Yes, sure. I will. Yes, Prabhu.
Here says Prabhu that after 7, Nirodha came, no? Like 9th is 10th canto.
No. I said because of the words in the
Oh, okay. Got it, Prabhu.
here, Nirodho Muktir Ashrayaha, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Otherwise, if you see, it's Ashraya, then Mukti, then and realization. What happens to devotees versus non-devotees?
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's causing a confusion. It's after all, it's a PPT. What's the big deal? Better to declare when it's there.
Yeah, you told, but I forgot.
Just avoid confusion, Prabhu. Yeah?
Yes, thank you.
Leave it there. I followed the verse as is. That's all. Right?
Yep.
So just to make it easier for people, because the order is changing, I'll just highlight that. Yes, Prabhu? That way people realize that it's not necessarily coming in the order. Right? And same thing, I'll follow the same font here. That way it makes it easier for people to understand. Sure. Okay. So now what is important here is that We understand that this is a logical transmigration of the living entity from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. Make sense? The progression. That's the most important in Srimad Bhagavatam. Because we are touching the lotus feet of the Lord in the first 2 cantos, natural progression is to realize the Lord by the end of the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. How does one perceive the Lord? That is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, in the 2nd canto, 9th chapter. Right? Here, when the Lord is seated on his throne, he is surrounded by different energies. What is that statement? Let me show you the picture. Planetary systems. In this picture, if you see here, can you see the Lord seated on the throne?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so the various energies of the Vaikuntha Loka are all there. Make sense?
Mm.
I'm just trying to make it very picturesque and clear so that it's easier. So the Lord, along with various energies and everything, he is present there. And Lord Krishna is telling Brahmadeva, saying that I am the one who was existing before the creation. Right? There was no material nature. I being the Supreme Person, I am the only one who remains. Right? And if there is something of value, if it has no relation to me, it is completely illusion. Right?
Mm.
And Lord Krishna is telling Lord Brahma, everything enters by my energy, and because I myself existed, I created everything. I'm outside of everything. And Lord, finally it says, at every time, at every space, directly and directly, one should search for the Supreme Lord. And that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is driving us towards. Is this clear?
Mm.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Mataji, is everybody
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Thank you everyone.
Yes.
So, now let's understand Srimad Bhagavatam other cantos with this understanding. Right? 3rd and 4th cantos correspond to the thighs. So they are talking about Sarga, Visarga, primary creation and secondary creation. How do we discuss these? By the discussion between sage Vidura and sage Maitreya. Of course, the 3rd canto has, the family life, how the embryo is formed, what is Sankhya, what is Bhakti, what is Ashtanga, what is Jnana, Karma, and what are the spiritual and material worlds. And to talk about the spiritual and material worlds, this is where we get the Varaha Deva pastime. And how Vaikuntha Loka is, and how Varaha Deva appeared, why did he appear, why did he protect, all those things come along with the Kardama Muni and Devahuti Devi, because their son is Lord Kapila and his teachings coming to the thing. Right? So it is in the 3rd, 4th and 5th cantos that Maitreya Mahamuni is describing the family lines of Swayambhuva Manu, like Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti, Uttanapada, Priyavrata, etc., etc., etc. So basically between 3rd and 5th, you might see 1 or 2 avatars, but that is primarily to demonstrate how these worlds are protected and maintained and created. That's not entire Ishanukadha, it's important elements of that Ishanukadha that are covered in the 3rd, 4th and 5th cantos. But the fourth canto, right, is quite a lot, right? Because it has Leelas covering Lord Shiva, Dhruva, Narada Muni, Prudu Chakravarti, Pracheta, all these people. And different extraordinary examples of bhakti are demonstrated. Along with that, we hear how material desires and material consciousness and attaching oneself to the role. For example, day before we discussed Sarvopadhimi Nirbhuktam Tatparatvena Nirbhuktam. We have to give up all designations. But here we get to see people like Daksha, Vena, Indra, Suruchi, all these people who have some attachment to their material role and
Yes.
position. Make sense?
Mm-mm.
So the differentiation of how a devotee of the Lord acts versus how somebody who is materially attached behaves, we get it. And therefore we see the examples of Prachetas, Dhruvas, and Prudu Chakravarti, where the devotee's behavior is taken to the nth degree and demonstrated how they want to hear and love Krishna Katha. Hare Krishna, clear between third, fourth, and fourth cantos?
Yes.
Now moving to the fifth canto, this is the navel of the Lord. We have moved from the thighs
Thighs.
to the navel, right?
Yes.
What is on the navel? When the Lord is lying down, the navel has a lotus.
Mm-mm.
On the lotus is Lord Brahma, right?
Mm-mm.
So Visarga is obviously covered here. Yes?
Yes.
Secondary creation. Logical? Yes?
Yes, true.
Yeah. Then, because we are talking about Visarga, there is some attachment, some lack of attachment. All those things are covered in terms of Rishabhadeva, Bharata Maharaj, King Nabhi, Chakravarti, Agnidhara, all these things. Right? And what happens is, here is where how Brahma places in the various planetary systems gets covered. Yes? The stharam aspect is covered. Make sense?
Yes.
Now when it comes to the sixth canto, this is about the protection or maintenance of the Lord. Alright? How Ajamila was protected. Alright? And then there is further discussion on how the creation, the secondary creation continued through the daughters of Prajapati Daksha. Right? And at the same time, irrespective of whichever form one is in, whether one is a Rakshasa or one is a Manusha, human or a demon, how devotional service purifies them is discussed in the form of Vrutrasura's thing. Right? And also it demonstrates how, despite being connected with somebody divine, people like Diti Devi could be corrupted and how they would get transformed. Then comes the seventh canto, which is where it is about the inclination. What is the inclination? The auspicious as well as the inauspicious things one does. While Prahlad Maharaj is an example of the most auspicious thing, Narasimhadeva, Hiranyakashipu is the example of misdeeds. Yes? So both are covered. How bhakti can be pure versus mixed. Everything is described, and how Varnashrama followers can get out of this Mishra Bhakti is also given. While What are the symptoms of Varnashrama Dharma followers doing Mishra Bhakti, and how, by the example of Prahlad Maharaj, is given first to say how we can transcend the Mishra Bhakti, which includes Jnana and Karma Mishra. Clear up to this point?
Yes.
Hare Krishna, is everyone clear, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Now, 8th canto, this is where all the Manvantaras are discussed. The span of Chaturyugas, the various kinds of personalities, the Manus and their, various avatars of the Lord, right? And Shukadeva Goswami goes on to describe the very important persons are part of Manvantaras, right? And then he elaborates on the pastimes, including Gajendra Moksham, Samudramanthanam, Bali, Maddanam, all those things, right?
Yeah.
And of course, Matsya Avatara discussion also happens here. Then the 9th canto is actually the throat, which is complete Ishanukatha. Till now there has been Leelas. Now Ishanukatha. This is where we hear about Lord Ramachandra. Yes? Of course, we hear about Ambarish Maharaj, Leela and everything. Yes? And because Ambarish Maharaj, Sagara, Ikshvaku, Lord Ramachandra, etc. and moves into Lord Ramachandra's appearance. Till now, until the 7th canto, if you see, the partial energy demonstration incarnations were shown. When it comes to the 9th canto, the Lord coming with full energies but with limited demonstration is shown. Yes?
Okay. Yes.
If you see, let's logically look at it. Matsyavatara only protecting the devotees, right?
Yes.
Kurmavatara only supporting the mountain, right? Yes or no? Mandara
Yes.
mountain to Sagar Mandharam, right?
Mm-mm.
Varaha Avatara, it's all about killing a demon and placing the earth in a place. Nrsimha Avatara, killing a demon and protecting a devotee.
Yes.
Right? Vamana Avatara, again punishing a demon and protecting the devatas.
Yes.
Right? Then Parashurama Avatara, yes, again killing the demoniac. Right?
Yes.
Or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Whereas when it comes to Rama Avataram, it is about protecting the devotees, punishing the demons, and showing the right dharmic path.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So that's why the throat aspect of the story. It's also the message of voice of the Lord demonstrated through his actions. Yes? That's why it's Isha Anukatha. The way we have to follow the Isha in our life. Yes?
Okay.
Because the followers of the Lord, like Ambarish Maharaj, right, are covered here. Yes? Make sense?
Okay.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Of course, 10th canto, it's the Samam Bonam. Ultimately, it's the Ashraya, the surrender to the Lord. It is none other than Lord Krishna's Vrindavana, Madhura, Dwaraka, Hastinapura, and many other places, all the Leelas that he does, and the wonderful transcendental pastimes of the Lord are covered completely. That's why Srila Prabhupada says, do not jump to the 10th canto without reading the first 9 cantos. Obviously, when one goes through that, one becomes eligible for mukti. Right? And it talks about how Lord Krishna disappeared, how he spoke Uddhava, gave Uddhava Geetam to Uddhava, right? Yes, etc. Please remember, while Bhagavad Gita is the most prominent, it's not the only Gita that's there. If you see, In Bhagavatam, we will see Shiva Geetam, we will see Gopi Geetam, we will see Uddhava Geetam, we will see Brahmara Geetam. Right? So there are many Geetams that are there. These are all, while the Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Lord, right? Whereas the Shiva Geetam, Brahmara Geetam, Gopi Geetam are by the devotees of the Lord. Right? But whereas Uddhava Gita, the difference is it's a conversation between Lord Krishna and his friend Uddhava. Right? It's a conversation. Make sense? Yeah. The 12th canto, it corresponds to the face of the Lord. Yes. And why? Ultimately, when we get moksha and go to him, there is no material existence, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the annihilation, so that we don't be worried or get into any anxiety, it's described here saying that, look, you don't have to worry, you already reached the face of the Lord, you are there. Just understand this is how the temporary elements are there. There is partial pralaya, there is final pralaya. There is nitya pralaya, there is occasional pralaya. Right? What is nitya pralaya? Like our body deteriorating. Yes?
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there is the prakritaka pralaya, which is all sorts of,
Conscious.
floods, etc., that occasionally happen. Also, what happens once in every Chaturyuga, or the 4 cycles of Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. There is a little pralaya, that also there. And finally, after all that 365, 100 years of Lord Brahma is there, there is the Atyantika pralaya. That's the final destruction. Right?
Yes.
That's what Srimad Bhagavatam in totality overview is. Is everyone clear? Do you have any doubts, please? Hare Krishna, anybody have any doubts?
Prabhuji, after the destruction, Brahma will also, because it's Brahma's lifetime, so the universe will again get created, right? So it is going to be a new Brahma which is getting created, right?
Correct. It would be a new Brahma.
Okay.
And sometimes when there is no appropriate Jivatma, Mataji, each and every one of us, like you and I as well, we can become a Lord Brahma provided we practice Varnashrama Dharma for 100 lifetimes properly. Right?
Yeah.
Varnashrama Dharma properly means getting over the Jnana Mishra that we talked about in Karma Mishra. Right? And rendering pure devotional service. Varnashrama Achara Vrata Punsa Purushena Parapuman Vishnu Aradhyate Pantha. Doing that pure devotional service, it's not easy. When sometimes there is always a vacancy, then Lord Krishna himself expands and becomes Lord Brahma in such cases.
Okay.
When there is scarcity, he himself becomes Lord Brahma.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Everyone is clear up to this point?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yes, please, Mataji.
Yes. So we hear that a lot. We hear the words pure devotional service a lot. I know I might be jumping the steps a little bit here, but if you could just, in a few words, just not explain but describe what pure means, as in pure devotional service.
Sure, Mataji. I mean, don't mind my asking this question. I'm not trying to insult you or Prabhu. Who does cooking at home?
I normally do.
You do most of the cooking, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And you offer to Lord Krishna, I guess, right?
Yes.
I'm not trying to, pinpoint you. I'm just using this as an example. How many times did you think this is what Krishna will like, rather than think Vimal would like?
At first, I was thinking what he would like, but then later on, I started, whenever cooking, it's like I started thinking, I hope this is good because I do not, when I cook, I do not know how much salt to add. I never know how much salt to add. So I always think of, I hope this is good, Krishna, because I don't know if you like this or not.
Yeah. I hope this is good, Krishna. I don't know whether you like this or not. But we don't
Yes.
know whether he is liking our preparation or not in the first place. We might
Yes.
roti and sabji today, but Krishna might want rasgulla.
Okay.
Yes.
You see the point, Mataji, the difference? Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not trying to,
No, I
Yeah,
know what you mean.
it's
Yes.
just I'm trying to bring out the example practically, Mataji.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
There are eggplants, brinjal in the house. Chalo,
Yeah.
बैंगन का भरता बना देंगे. Right? Yes?
Yes.
भगवान
Yes.
को बैंगन का भरता भोग चढ़ा देंगे आज रोटी के साथ. बट भगवान को बैंगन का भरता चाहिए या नहीं?
How do we know?
Right, that's where the purity comes as we keep meditating, Mataji. Eventually, Krishna will reveal himself to us.
Okay.
Okay.
That state is the pure devotional service.
Okay.
Right? That's why Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Naham prakashah sarvasya mama yogamaya samavrutaha. I am not revealing to everybody covered by my yoga maya. So, right now we are fighting to get over that covering and understand Lord Krishna.
Mm-mm.
When we realize Lord Krishna, when we understand Lord Krishna, He is Bhavagrahi Janardana. He is one who accepts our mood. And when our mood is Krishna, I want to understand you and make something or do a service that is pleasing to you. The conversation starts there. Right, Mataji?
Yes. Thank
I'll
you,
give you an
Prabhuji.
example. Have all of you gone to Tirumala? Lord Balaji, Tirupati?
Tirupati. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
There is a Babaji, they used to be there called Hati Ramji. Hati Ramji. He was so interested in being very close to the Lord, he wanted to play a game of chess with the Lord. The Lord understood that mood, and Lord Balaji or Lord Venkateshwara, he used to leave after the devotees closed the doors and the temple finished their services. He used to go at night, play with Babaji the game of chess or game of dice until the morning, and then return back by the time it was time for him to accept the services. Even to this date, Hatiram Babaji Mutt is there as a special significance in Tirumala, Tirupati. If you haven't seen that mutt, next time whenever you go to Tirupati or Tirumala, please go and see Hatiram Babaji Mutt on the top of 7 hills. A very pure devotee of the Lord, whose desire to be friendly with the Lord ensured that the Lord came and played a game of dice with him every night. Now you see, Mataji,
Yes, Prabhuji.
when it comes to that stage, that purity attracts the Lord.
Okay.
Naturally, the revelation will happen. Yeah?
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Right. And how would that be possible? How would that be possible? For pure bhakti, right? See here. Although it's not in the context, it's important. Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, 55th verse. You please kindly, I'll try and present that right now to you. 1 second. What is all this? Stop all this. All these things can go. 1 second. Unwanted things, let me close them. Right. Right. before I do this, before I share that, let me take you to 11.55 in the first place. Yamaya looks like Krishna Shravan. Can you tell him I'll have to talk to him later? Right. In 11.55, because we are talking about pure devotional service, this is the last verse of the 11th chapter. After this comes the 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga. This is where you see what Lord Krishna says. Mat karma kurun mat paramo mat bhaktah sangha varjitah nirvairah sarva bhuteshu yasamameti pandava. Here Lord Krishna says, my dear Arjuna, who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he works for me, right? So no karma mishra, no jnana mishra. He works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being. He certainly comes to me. The 5 qualities to become a pure devotee of the Lord, pure devotional service. We should not have any karma mishra bhakti. We should not have any jnana mishra in the form of mental speculation saying that I rethink this. There is nothing to think. It's what the Shastra says. Right? If we think too much, there is the old Dennis the Menace cartoon. You know, he one day comes from the exam and the mother asks him, right, how did you write the exam? Well, I've done everything right, but they asked me for the past tense of think. I thought and have written He's saying I thought and have written thunk. Right? So overthinking, overanalyzing, we end up at the wrong conclusion. Right? So that mental speculation should be avoided. Completely surrender to the sadhu, shastra and guru, and work in accordance with that for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Hrushikena Hrushikesa Sevanam. Remember yesterday we discussed serving the Lord of the senses with our senses, right? There, and giving up the designations and making Krishna our goal of life. Why? If you are traveling somewhere, right, in Sanskrit or Hindi, how will you say travel? Yan. Yes? Vimanayan. Yes? Yatri. Yan.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Right. Narayan. Narka Ayan Narayan. When the Nara traverses and travels towards the Lord, the ultimate goal is Narayana. When one's life is completely engrossed with the service to the Lord, and when one's life continues that way, he goes to Narayana. He goes to Narayana. Yes? Makes sense?
Yes, very true. Yeah.
And when one is living like that, as it is said in Bhagavad Gita in the 5th chapter, one will see Paramatma in each and every person. Yes?
Yes.
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmanega Vihastini Shuni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. Because he has got Vidya, he gets, what did we say yesterday, Vinaya, day before we discussed, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Remember, Vinaya
No
gives
sin.
humility?
Yes.
Yeah. Vidya gives Vinaya. When you have, knowledge, you get ahankar. But when you have vidya, education or understanding, right, you become humble. Let's take an example. We have the ringmaster in the circus, correct? Yes?
Yes.
He uses his whiplash and trains the lions and the tigers. Yes?
Yes.
When he whiplashes, they go and get on to the particular place. But do they do so politely, or do they roar and go?
Row and go.
Because a lion has its ego, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
Right. So it has the skill, it has the knowledge, it has to get on there, but it doesn't have the understanding.
Mm.
Why it does? Because it only thinks it will get some portion of the meat from this
Yes.
ringmaster. Yes?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas one who understands realizes one is not the spirit soul. So therefore, a lion there is well trained, not well educated.
Yes.
You get me? Knowledge comes from training. Humility comes from education. Yes?
Education. Okay.
That's why Vidya, Vinaya Sampanne, one who is educated, his Sampanna or Sampat or his wealth is Vinaya. Humility. How does that humility manifest? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane, Gavi Hastini, in Brahmana, in cow, in an elephant, Shuni Chaiva Supakecha, in a dog and a dog eater. In all of them, he or she sees Paramatma, sees them with equal vision. Therefore, he is friendly to every living being. Thereby, the person certainly reaches Lord Krishna. Clear?
Yes.
What is pure devotional service, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I was so confused about this.
Right, great. So now I'm elaborating on that verse, right? A little bit more so that you are all clear. Because Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to study and meditate with this degree of surrender and understanding. Not that we'll be pure, but at least meditate that we want to surrender to that degree. Yes?
Mm-mm.
So
Okay.
11.55, this is what it says, as I said. Let's see how Krishna explains this in Bhagavad Gita. Mat karma kruh means engaged in doing my work. Right?
Mm-mm.
See Bhagavad Gita 12.6 to 12.7. ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्तो उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्तां मृत्यु संसार सागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्था मय्यावेशित चेतसाम्. So Krishna is saying, those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in my devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Prudha, for them I am swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam is asking us to do. Yes or no? Right? Gradually taking us up to the 10th canto and taking us up to the 12th. Yes? Mataji,
Yes.
Prabhuji, is everybody clear on this?
Yes.
So how should we perform the activities? For his pleasure. Right?
Mm-mm.
Then how is the bhakti? That is explained 12.8 to 12.13. We discussed this 12.8 to 12.13 when we were doing the 12th chapter briefly. Bhagavad Gita overview. Right? In 12.8, Krishna says, Mayeva manadhatsva mai buddhim niveshaya. Fix your mind and intelligence upon me. Nivasishyasi mayeva atavurdham samsheha. Once you do that, you are always with me. Right? Yes?
Yes.
If you can't fix your mind and intelligence upon me,
I just
then practice the regulative principles of freedom of Bhakti Yoga. Right? Adhaitadapi ashakto asi kattum matyoga masritaha sarva karma phalatyagam tatah kurena etatmavan. If you can't practice bhakti yoga, do work for me. Adhaitadapi ashakto asi kartum matyogam sarva karma phalatyagam tatah kuyatatmavan. If you cannot even do work for me, just offer the results to me. If you still cannot do that, shreyohi jnanam abhyasat jnanat dhyanam visishyate. So dhyanam comes, at least meditate on me. Right? Remember the reverse order we discussed in the overview of Bhagavad Gita? Do you all recall?
Yes. Yes.
Then comes dhyanam, then comes jnanam, then comes, then jnanam and jnanam come if you cannot offer your result. Yes?
Yes.
Then all below that comes the, what do we call, sentimentality. So-called sentimental devotion, which is mental speculation. Yes?
Yes.
So, when we do this, what happens? We become nirvairaha. Lord Krishna explains in 12th thing. Adveshta sarva bhutana maitra korna yevacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukha kshami santusha satatam yogi yatatma drudha nischeha mayarpita mano buddhir yomat bhakta same priyaha. Then Lord Krishna says, when one is not envious to all living entities, who does not consider oneself a proprietor, no Ishvara Bhava, free from false ego, equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with his mind and intelligence fixed upon me, such a devotee is very dear to me. So how should we work? Without troubling others, it's the only way we can be very, very attractive to Krishna. Right?
Yes.
And then Krishna culminates in 12.15. Yasmanno dvijate loko, lokanno dvijate jayaha, harsha marsha bhayodvegaihi, mukto yaha sachame priyaha. The world should not be disturbed by this person, and the person should not be disturbed by the world. Yasmanno dvijate loko, lokanno dvijate jayaha, harsha marsha bhayodvegaihi. When there is a happiness or a distress, one is not imbalanced. One has complete balance. Mukto yaha sachame priyaha. Such a person is very, very dear because he is nirvairaha. Then sangavarjitaha. Here Lord Krishna says 12.16 and 12. Aniketah sthiramathi bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Right? He is not dependent on any of the courses of activities. Right? In 12.17 he says, Yo na hrishyati yad na dveshti, na sochati na kankshati, samha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. When somebody doesn't rejoice, does not strive for a result, not having material affection, affinity or contamination, Lord Krishna describes how one can transcend the fruitive activities and mental speculation. Then Krishna says in 12.19, Samaha shatrau cha mitre cha tadha manapa manayoho sitoshna sukha dukkeshu samasanga vyavajjitaha tulya ninda stuti mauni santushto yena kenachit aniketah sthirabatihi bhaktiman ne priyo naraha. So one who is equal to friends and enemies, equipoised in honor and dishonor, tolerant towards heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, always free from any bad association, always silent and satisfied with anything, and who doesn't care for any particular place of living, no attachment to a place of living, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is dear to me. And Krishna concludes in 12.20, Ye tu dharmyamrutamidam yadhoktam pariupasate shraddha dhana matparama bhaktaste ativa me priyaha. One who practices this with complete faith, considering me to be the ultimate goal, then that devotee is very, very dear to me. That's what Lord Krishna says. That is pure devotional service.
Service.
And he says, yeah, samameti pandava. That person attains me without doubt. That is the Jivan Mukta stage. Yes?
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Prabhuji, is everybody
Yes.
clear on this?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And this is what Srimad Bhagavatam is leading us to. Yes?
Yeah.
This is what Srimad Bhagavatam is leading us to. Nothing different. Because ultimately we are seeing the lotus face of Lord Krishna. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? So it's very, very important that we understand that somebody who goes through all these processes along these, the meditations, etc., go to the Mahatloka where Maharshis are there, then go to the Janatloka, purify further, because in Janatloka what happens? The four Brahma Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatana, Sananda, Sanat Kumaras, Lord Brahma's Kumaras come there and they teach Bhagavatam to the people. Because into Janatloka, what is happening, as I said, people from the Narakaloka are coming. Yes or no?
Yes.
They have heard some Bhagavatam from Yamadharmaraj. Now,
Yes.
the pure Bhagavatam further is being, because the Bhagavatam that Yamadharmaraj teaches, by the way, Yamadharmaraj or Yamaraj dons two hats. One, in Narakaloka, he is punishing the sinners. But in Pitruloka, he conducts everyday Bhagavatam.
Okay.
That Bhagavatam is Devata Bhagavatam. It has 50,000 verses. Our Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. Devata's longer span of life, their Bhagavatam has 50,000 verses. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
In Janatloka, the original realized Bhagavatam, which by seeing the Lord, the four Kumaras have realized, right?
Yes.
Yes? Did we discuss here how they taught to Narada Muni, etc.? Did we discuss that Leela?
Hmm.
Hare Krishna?
No, we didn't.
Not yet, but Prabhuji.
Not yet? Okay, that's fine. Probably we'll cover that next week because it's already 9 o'clock for you there, right?
Yes. Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure. If you can, are you okay with another 10-15 minutes or shall we stop soon?
10 to 15 minutes. I'm okay. Depending on the others.
That's okay, Prabhuji, with me as well.
Other devotees, Vimal Prasad Prabhu, Ajay Prabhu.
All good, Prabhu. All good.
Yes.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. Right. So now, let's understand. Srimad Bhagavatam, Yamadharmaraj is teaching in the Pitruloka. Yes?
Yeah.
But even after hearing Bhagavatam, not everybody practices, right? Yes?
Hmm.
Those who start showing inclination, they come to the Janarloka. And the Maharshis who have been meditating and see the Paramatma, they also come to the Janarloka. For them, now the understanding of the Lord, for both to the Maharshis as well as these Pitrus who have become purified and want to understand the Lord, the original Bhagavatam is being narrated by the four Kumaras, Sanat, Sanatana, Sanat, Sananda Kumaras. And then these people start realizing, oh, let's do tapasya on the Lord. Then they get qualified to go to Satyaloka, be in the association of Lord Brahma and worship the Sahasra Sirsha Purusha, the thousands of heads form of the Lord. There they worship and thereby they move further and go to Lord Krishna. You see how this is happening? Yeah? Why do I say the four Kumaras are the first ones who have narrated Srimad Bhagavatam? Right? The Leela is this. Once Narada Muni is traveling through the planet Earth and he comes to Vrindavan. There he sees a young lady crying over two old gentlemen. Very, very old. They are in a very dilapidated situation. So he becomes inquisitive, goes and asks her, who are you? Why are you crying? She says, I am Bhakti Devi. These two are Jnana and Vairagya. Then he says, why are you crying? Then she says, look, because it's Kali Yuga, Jnana and Vairagya have become very, very weak and fragile. I thought at least if I bring them to Vrindavan, because the dust here, the lotus feet of the Lord have touched. Therefore, that by the touch of that dust, these Jnana and Vairagya could become stronger and energetic. But it hasn't happened, that's why I'm lamenting, because I don't know what to do. Then Narada Muni says, oh, don't worry, Mother Bhakti, I'll just go like this now, ask the Lord for the solution and come back. Then Mother Bhakti asks him, do you think you can go so swiftly and come back? He says, oh yes, you gaya, you aya. And right? This is a leela from Laghu Bhagavatam, right? But once he goes, Narada Muni, who easily goes to Lord Narayana, yes? Who easily goes to Lord Krishna, goes on searching. He sweats, but he cannot go beyond the Mahatattva. You see the little, that bubble that we have seen earlier, the Mahatattva?
Yes.
He was unable to go beyond this. Then he realizes, oh dear, I realized that I've started with the ego and Lord Krishna didn't like it. Then prays to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna appears and tells Narada Muni, look, go and do meditation and tapasya for your 4 Kumara brothers. Then he does the tapasya, they appear and they narrate him Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? Yes?
Okay.
That's why they come to Janatloka and narrate. Yes?
Okay.
Right. Now while on that topic, let's discuss the various narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam hasn't been narrated once. It has been narrated multiple times. Right? Like Narada Muni narrated it to Vyasa Maharshi. Yes?
Yes.
Right. And Vyasadeva narrated it and Shukadeva Goswami heard when he was in the womb of his mother. Yes?
Yes.
Then we see Vyasa Muni speaking on Bhagavatam, then Surya Goswami and others listening. Yes?
Yes.
Then we see Surya Goswami speaking and Saunakadi Muni is listening.
Okay.
Saunaka and other Munis listening. Yes?
Yes.
So Srimad Bhagavatam is not one time. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's not like it's chronological. It's a conversation within a conversation within a conversation. It's tears.
Yes.
Right? And in between, Sukadeva Goswami also heard partially Bhagavatam before entering the womb of Vyasadeva's wife. You know how? She was a parrot in Shivaloka. And one day, Lord Shiva was narrating Srimad Bhagavatam to Parvati Devi.
Yes.
And when Lord Shiva was narrating Bhagavatam to Parvati Devi, what happens? This parrot listens. Then Lord Shiva takes Trishul and runs after this parrot, saying that why is this parrot listening? This parrot flies into that Vatika where, or the forest where the Vyasadeva was there. And remember, in those days, when the sages were there, the forest Devi became their wife. That's why his wife's name is Vatika Devi. Vatika means forest.
Yes.
So the parrot enters the forest, enters the womb of the mother, the Vatika Devi, right, who was acting as the wife of sage Vyasadeva, and that's how, because she is the mother forest, she could bear Sukadeva Goswami for 16 years.
Okay.
You see the point? Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
These are all transcendental to the average Joe knowledge and logic and understanding. And because he has partially heard Bhagavatam, his realization was partial. So he said, this world is not nice. Brahman is better. But once he heard full Bhagavatam from sage Vyasadeva, he said, well, even this existence is not nice, let me walk out and enjoy Bhagavatam. Yes? Make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So now let's look at the order in which these things have happened. We have the four Kumaras teaching Narada Muni, who came and spoke Bhagavatam in front of Bhakti Devi. Yes? Because the Jnana and the Vairagya got rejuvenated. Yes? Hare Krishna? Remember
Yes.
this Leela?
Prabhuji. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Then
Yes,
Narada
Prabhu.
Muni also spoke to Vyasadeva, because Vyasadeva was his disciple. So Vyasadeva picked it up. In the meantime, Lord Shiva spoke to Mother Parvati. The parent Shuka heard, and the Shuka came and entered into the womb of Vatika Devi. Then whatever Vyasadeva was speaking, it also heard along with Suta Goswami and all. Right? Whenever Vyasadeva was speaking, Suta Goswami and all have heard. Right? Then Parikshit Maharaj was cursed. Then Shukadeva Goswami came and spoke. Then Suta Goswami and all have heard again. Vyasadeva was also there hearing. Yes?
Yes.
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 Sutta Goswami heard twice that way, Prabhu.
Suta Goswami heard multiple times, Prabhu, because he was disciple of Vyasadeva. It was a continuous narration, you see.
Yeah.
So he heard multiple times. What I am trying to say is, along with Shukadeva Goswami, Suta Goswami also heard. Right? And
Yeah.
also when Shukadeva Goswami was explaining Srimad Bhagavatam with his utmost realization, not only did Suta Goswami hear, even Vyasadeva was there in the assembly hearing.
Yes.
Yes. Then Suta Goswami again in Naimisharanya he is speaking to Shaunakadi Rishis, Shaunaka and other Maharshis. Yes, Prabhu, yes, Mataji. See the number of
Yes.
times
Yes.
Bhagavatam discussion has happened. That's Srimad Bhagavatam. Nityanukirtanam. It's glorification of the Lord in its eternity and in its entirety. It's not a one time. It's a continuum. It's glorification continuum. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Thank you very much for the extra 15 minutes. This, sort of concludes what we are discussing. So, I guess we'll meet on Sunday. We will do the Chatushloki in detail, understand the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then slowly start moving into other topics.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Nitai Gaura Sitanath Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. It's not a problem.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.